Again, as I said before, when Argentina were planning out their just had to adjust that there, when they were planning their World Cup qualifying logistics for the match against Bolivia, obviously it's very difficult to plan out 3-4 weeks ahead that there's going to be a hurricane hitting about 3 or 4 hours north of that, which is the case. And of course, anyone in Tampa in that area, of course, I hope and wish the best for you during this very difficult moment. Very difficult. Again, I want to give you the information that you're not going to be getting from the RGs abroad. You're not going to be getting from any football accounts. In addition to this, because it's going to be a very difficult moment. There's going to be some interesting decisions that are going to have to be made within the Argentine national team, people in charge, basically, that are going to have to make some quick decisions in terms of this. Why? Well, for starters, you have to understand where they have to be and when they have to be there by. They play against Venezuela on Thursday. Again, this is not me minimizing any situation. This is actually a combination of telling you how urgent it is in certain areas, how urgent it is from a logistical standpoint for some others, and knowing the severity of what they're going to have to overcome in order to get to Venezuela. Okay, so it's not being alarmist, it's not being sensationalistic, it's nothing along those lines. It's one just being honest in terms of what's going on and what will be happening in the coming hours, to say. I can tell you firsthand, I live about 10-15 minutes away from the Argentine national team camp. Not Inter Miami, that's different, where they're staying, basically the hotel. That Inter Miami's complex is about another 10-15 minutes north of that. But then the airport, Miami International, from Inter Miami to Miami International Airport, that ends up being about an hour drive without traffic. Okay, without traffic. A lot of people are coming down from Tampa, from the Tampa St. Petersburg area, which is about a 3-4 hour drive. It has been reported, or is being reported, or is being estimated that this will be one of the biggest evacuations in the last 7 years, when Hurricane Irma hit. And that was a very traumatizing time for many, because many had recently come down. They had never dealt with a hurricane before, and they're heading to Georgia. They're heading anywhere other than South Florida. Now, of course, in Tampa, there's many people that have never experienced a hurricane before, and they're heading north, south, east if they could, but that's not going to help them out much in this area. North, south, as north as they possibly can, and as south as they possibly geographically can as well. So there will be a lot of traffic, a lot of logistical headaches that are going to be created in the next few hours, and it's part of it. Patience, cooperation will be required. I digress. When it comes to the Argentine national, they're going to have to contend with all that. It's not just, no. You're not going to get Messi's coming. Nobody gives a shit at this point. When it comes to a hurricane, I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm getting water. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. I have to have my ducks in a row before I even worry about looking at Leo Messi and looking at Argentina. Nobody gives a shit about Argentina right now. That's basically how one has to put it. From their logistical standpoint, they're going to have to contend with that and seeing what they're going to do, because decisions are going to be made not only at my personal level, seeing what I'm going to do with my house. I'm talking about figuratively. You already figured that out at a certain point. Authorities locally have already been talking about what they're going to be doing. A lot of schools are closing down tomorrow. It'll be at 1700 hours local. And University of Miami, Florida National, Nova Southeastern have all announced that schools closing down. Some will be going virtual for the next week. Some will close down, cancel for good. No one knows yet what public schools will be doing. They'll probably end up following suit. A lot of different things. And of course, following that, then you start looking at the airports, which is the most important thing right now in terms of Argentina, because they have to be at Miami International, because there's only one route and one flight out to where they have to be in Maturin. All that being said, if that flight comes through, thank goodness. All right? They end up getting a great deal of stress relieved out of them. If they don't, then they're stuck. Let me repeat that. If they can't get out of here, not only can they not fly out to Maturin, they can't fly out anywhere because the airport's going to be closed. And if the rain that they're expecting here, it's not, again, what we're dealing with is peanuts, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not familiar with what we're dealing with, is just a lot of rain and maybe 60 to 70 kilometer per hour winds. That's nothing compared to what people in Tampa are going to be enduring in the next 18 to 36 hours. So I want to be very clear when it comes to that, okay? I'm not trying to make it sound like this is something tragic for it. No, it's not. What's tragic, and I hope it isn't, is what's going to happen up north, okay? But here I'm just talking about the logistical aspect of Argentina, so everyone is crystal clear. If they can't fly out, they're not flying out because it's not going to happen. It will happen after the storm. Now, Thursday, Friday, so that match can run a possibility. I'm not saying that it will be. It's not being reported. It's not something one's confirming. If that scenario does build up, then there's a possibility for that match to have to be postponed, have to be played at a later date. That's all. Nothing's going to happen. No one's going to die. Nothing. That would be the worst case scenario for Argentina. And of course, they'd have to go back home. They'd have to wait for everything to kind of get back to normal, for them to get the green light to fly out, for flights to be made available, and again, to be able to coordinate people who have missed their flights because the airport was closed to be able to fly out accordingly. And of course, everyone leaving and life starting anew, or starting normally to a certain extent yet again. There's a lot of things going on. So there'll be a lot of issues that we talked about. It'll be a race against time. There is a possibility Argentina can fly out tomorrow. They're going to have to say, grab your bags, we're leaving. And we fly out and we try and figure out how we get there. That's a possibility as well. But they have to do it before the rains start coming. And it will be a Tuesday going into very early Wednesday. It'll be a very, very rough takeoff. I'll leave it at that. And I hope it is. And I hope it's a smooth sailing situation. I hope everything goes well for them. And I hope they're able to come out here without a problem. But I'm telling you this just to be very aware of what could happen in the coming days. All right. Talk to you later. Ciao.